All right, this next song that we're going to check out is Travis Meadows' Sideways. Now, me and Chuck have been wanting to react to this song for a while. The good brother, Mr. Michael Palmisano, reacted to this, and in his YouTube title, he said, I believe something like, this is one of the greatest songs of all time, or something like that.
Or it's like, this is amazing, or something.
And I didn't cheat. I went and I listened to his talking of the song, and I fast forwarded through the song. It hit him hard. So we love Michael Palmisano. Everybody, please go subscribe to his channel.
If you're not following him, you're missing out.
He's so good. And we've been looking forward to reacting this song for a while now. Everybody put your big boy pants on. It's about to get serious. We're about to have some tough conversations. If you're looking for some happy-go-lucky fun stuff, this is probably not going to be your spot for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Cold Dead is popping. Everybody turn it up. Let's check out Travis Meadows' Sideways.
Guitar sounds so good.
Look at the technique, so loose too.
Yeah.
If I could buy myself a conscience that wasn't broken.
You know, whenever somebody reacts that strongly at the beginning of a song, it's either going to be like, whew, it was all heavy at the front end, or strap in, mother effer. And I think you better strap in, bruh.
Oh, if I could buy myself a conscience that wasn't broken.
Yeah.
You know, when your body just, when something affects you so much and you just get tight. Oh, that's how I felt. If I could buy myself a conscience, wasn't broken. Woo!
Mend every fence I drove my hard head through. Relock all the doors I wish I'd never opened. Unlearn the things I wish I never knew. And it came out through the bottle. Came out through my fists. Came out way too early. I wish it never did. Push it down, comes out sideways. Push it down, it comes out sideways. Beat the roads turn into highways. Push it down, it comes out sideways, sideways, sideways.
Now, this is going to get real emotional for me. I haven't heard this song. Chuck just told me it was going to kind of rule me. I am battling with a lot of emotions and mental health and trying to figure out how to deal with it. And just that simple chorus repeating itself, you push it down, it turns out sideways. And my entire life, I'm 36, my entire life, any emotion I've ever felt, I've locked it away. And you know what tends to happen? I treat my wife like shit sometimes. I treat my students like shit sometimes. I treat my family like shit sometimes because I'm not able to deal with what I'm feeling. And I'm living this right now. Most of you guys know I'm a Spanish teacher. And yesterday in class, I wasn't a very good teacher. My lesson plan sucked. I wasn't prepared. And you know what happens in a classroom when a teacher's not prepared and your class is not good? Students start to act up a little bit because when I teach a good class, I've got their attention the whole time and they're engaged and all this stuff. But whenever I'm not on point, they start to get distracted, they start to act up a little bit, and then I overreact to them acting up, and it's like this snowball that starts happening. I act like a jerk, and this is just me right now, man. Like I can't describe how much that lyric hits me, that I suppress these emotions, I hold them down, and I just imagine it's like pushing some liquid down to where you think that you're pushing it down, but it's actually coming out somehow. It's coming through your fingers, and you can't control this thing.
I have days which just nose above the water. Keep it together while I fall apart. I have moments when I act just like my father, the only man who ever broke my heart. And it comes out in my silence, sometimes unwanted tears. Comes out disguised as anger, but it's really fear. Push it down, it comes out sideways. Push it down, it comes out sideways. Peter roads turn into highways. Push it down, it comes out sideways. Yes, it does.
All right, so I didn't stop it immediately on the father line, but I know that is a feeling, and I listened to Parmesano's reaction, and I know that that's what he really focused on. Let's go back and listen. I want to make sure I get that lyric right. Let's hear it one more time.
I have moments when I act just like my father, the only man who ever broke my heart.
I have moments that I was just like my father, the only man who ever broke my heart. I think that you would be hard pressed, real hard pressed to find men that don't have daddy issues. I feel like people who are our age, I was born in 1985, I just don't know a lot of folks that don't have tough things to say about their father.
Man, I think that there is something very specific to being older and understanding that your father is flawed. And God, I bet every single one of us has like got something with our dad, you know? And for me, it's very recent. I went through like the first 35 years of my life with my dad just being like a completely untarnished hero.
Yeah.
And so for me, our falling out is profound. It's like very, or I don't know if profound is the word I want to use, but for me, it's very intense. But I just don't see how the father is such an elemental individual. I don't see how there's not a profundity or an intensity to any relationship, because it's like we understand the concept of father the way that we understand the concept of water if we grow up with a father. And whatever it is, whatever the image is that you associate with it, it is an elemental image, you know? So for you, like everything that your dad does is like something that some guy that you know does to the 10th power, you know. And that's just because it's incredibly intense being that elemental force in your life. And you know, this guy is saying two things at this time. He's saying, like, I got days when I'm just like my dad, the only guy who ever broke my heart, and also that kind of makes me an asshole. You know, he's saying two things at the same time. He's telling us about where he came from, and he's telling us about what he did with it. You know, it's heavy.
And I think this doesn't speak for everybody, but I know it speaks for me and Chuck, is that when you grow up in a religious environment, the father figure is so important, because you have been taught that he is the head of the household. He is this larger than life figure that you don't have anywhere else. Maybe other than like the pastor of your church gets that big pedestal, but the father in a Mississippi home, in a religious home, is glorified in so many ways, and the mother is just not glorified. I don't know. I don't want to get into like the specifics, or I don't want to ramble on about the father and the mother and how the women, whatever. But I think a lot of people don't realize how profound that we are taught as children that your father is so important. He's to be revered. He's to be respected. And he's, in my case, my goal is to do everything I can to please him. My goal in life almost is to make your dad proud. And that's something that's been preached to us from such a young age. And that brings about so many things like resentment and a lot of different things. But don't you think there's the religious aspect to it that also plays a huge part?
Yeah, I do. I think that, and I think Anne-Marie nailed it. I think that the guy that your dad is kind of becomes the guy that your God is.
Yeah.
There's especially if you're from the South, but surely like most American concepts of this heavenly father is like very much affected by your biological father or by the father that raises you, whoever is your father figure, your direct father figure. So, man, you know, I think fatherhood and father-son relationships are incredibly complicated and apparently fragile. And the problem is you're transitioning from being someone's biggest dependent and biggest fan into being your own independent, unique individual. And you're changing, and this person is not, they need to be in good shape to be equipped with the fact that the person that you are at 4, you're an entirely different human being at 14. There may be no commonalities between the two, and they have to be fresh to deal with that. And if you're not dealing with your stuff, it makes it really hard to be there for your kids.
I can make it
I don't know if I can handle any one of these songs.
Well, at least I got you.
My
It
idea.
comes out in my silence. Sometimes unwanted tears. Comes out disguised as anger, but it's really
That's
fear.
a hell of a lyric. Oh,
Comes out disguised as anger,
Push
but
it
it's
down,
fear.
comes out sideways. Push it
Love you, Adam.
down, it comes out
Keep it up, buddy.
sideways. Peter roads turn into highways. Push it down, it comes out sideways. Yes, it does. Push it push it down, it comes out sideways. Bitter roads turn into highways. Push it down, it comes out sideways, sideways.
So it's disguised as anger, but it's really fear. So I've been watching this this psychologist that streams on Twitch. I can't remember his name. But he made a point the other day that really struck well with me, that anger is the only feeling that men are allowed to feel in public. So whenever your girlfriend breaks up with you, it's very normal that with your buds, you get pissed off. You want to punch something. Like, anger is a normal thing.
Socially
Acceptable thing for a man to feel. But he made the point where he said, but what you will not hear a man say is that because she broke up with me, I fear that I'll be alone for the rest of my life. And so it's interesting how anger is okay for us men. Like, that's something that's okay. But fear, no, Manuel. Fear is never okay. Do not ever show that you're afraid. Do not ever show fear. And I started just really contemplating my life and how important that is for me, where I never tell anybody I'm afraid of anything. I'm a super positive person. Y'all know we celebrate a lot on here, but there are a lot of things that scare the shit out of me. And I don't want to be afraid to talk about that. Does that make any sense? Like,
yeah. Well, yeah. You know, men can't show anything but anger, and then when we show anger, it's never like positively identified as a negative reaction, you know.
Yep.
Sometimes anger is the proper response, but the dude who goes in and trashes the dugout, people are not like, what a D-bag. That dude always throws the Gatorade cooler. They're always like, and look at this guy. And then all the kids are seeing that. And then the kids are learning that impulse management is not only conditional, it's also pretty cool if you don't abide by it.
yeah.
And man, you know, like nobody, and I'll take it a step further. Nobody in public wants to say to other people that they're lonely. They'll admit to being depressed or anxious or angry or sad.
Yeah, anxiety is like
broken.
this umbrella term that covers all things. Right?
No one will fess up to saying, I'm lonely. I deal with a lot of loneliness, because that's seen as like culturally or socially sad. Everybody feels loneliness. That's like being embarrassed if somebody's like, are you lonely? You're like, no, I'm not lonely. That's like somebody like, do you poop? I'll poop. Never. It's everybody's lonely, bro. Everybody poops.
Thank you so much for watching the video this long. Hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. Also, this was a clip from our weekly live stream that we do every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time on Twitch. Hope to see you there one Tuesday night, and I'll see you somewhere on down the river.